Cha-cha-cha. You don't need a reason, any old season will be fine.
Hey.
Gotta tell you, JC Lodge there. Dial my number. Good morning to you.
Oh,
No, Carly Davis, sorry. Carly, you are correct, my love. It is indeed Carly Davis. Good morning to you. And good morning to her wonderful husband as well. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Tami Cowan. Good morning, everybody. If today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. And if you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary. Or maybe you're celebrating a late Valentine's Day. No, some people get the 13th, some get the 15th, the 16th. You understand? It depends.
Some people get the people who get the 15, 16, those are special people.
Some people do. But yeah, welcome back.
If you get the 15th and the 16th,
we know where you fall. Right, or the 13th.
And you know where you fall. and if it's okay with you, it's
okay with us.
You.
That's right. Now it's time for another fun segment of Ask Kittennis. Yes. When you ask Dennis and I, we serve up some real talk and, some give it to you straight. You ask us the questions and we give you our honest answer. So, Uncle Dennis, what question do they have for us this morning? This fridge is very cutesy.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. So the question is question 1. Kittennis, I'd love to know your opinion on whether Jamaicans should celebrate Black History Month. Is it an American thing? Well, that's an easy answer. Yes, it's an American thing. And should is, I suppose, up to you. Now, there is the argument that would say, why are we celebrating Black History Month? It is a creation of American culture that is because the history of Black people in America was for so long subjugated, and so they needed a Black History Month as a form of intellectual affirmative action.
And to elevate who they are, what they've accomplished.
To raise their sense of identity. Now, the argument is that we in Jamaica, for instance, and here in the Caribbean, we have a very strong sense of our Black identity. Our history is entirely, or for the most part, Black, so we don't need it. But
I disagree. We need it.
I think as a global powerhouse, I mean, American culture is so pervasive throughout the world that we could learn a lot from the observance of Black History Month. Also, the history of our Jamaican-ness coming out of a history of slavery and colonialism and the post-colonial era. I do think there is some merit, but what I don't agree, and I've always said this as a media practitioner, I don't agree with copy and pasting or just transposing American Black History Month content in our space.
So that is where, and I definitely agree with you. So when I see Black History Month, I am more inclined to talk about Black Jamaicans, right? Black Caribbean nationals, right?
Yes.
Who have done things to elevate our Blackness, our humanity, and people of the Negroid race. I believe that we ought to be celebrating Black History Month because as Black people, we too, though not as polarized as in the United States, the Jim Crow era and stuff like that, but we too have faced, and some may argue still facing, a lot of racial, classist, prejudicial instances. So, for example, you'll find that the quote-unquote 1% or the top echelon of Jamaican society is made up of persons of a certain hue, when it is that the majority of us are Black. But when you look at the who is who and the well-to-do, so I think that there are things to learn, as well as it further galvanizes where we're coming from and what we have achieved. So I definitely think it is something worthy of celebrating, just not the American, as you said, cut and paste. The American way, necessarily. Because we have our own great men, our own great women to celebrate.
Right,
yeah. I agree.
And we don't have so much of a racist problem as we do like a
we have a classist, colorist problem. But the racism still there, Dennis, as an undertone, or where at least where we're coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Question 2. Hi, Kittennis. Do you think we celebrate the work of our heroes enough? To be honest, I feel like Marcus Garvey gets more love overseas. I don't agree. I don't agree.
I think we can do more. I think a lot of, for me right now, when I look at it, I would want to see more, and you know, it starts in school. I've often said school is one of the secondary sources of socialization, and I want more civics and more that kind of pride. And I think we celebrate our heroes, but really, Denise, only when October time come Heroes Day, and right now for a lot of people, it's not even about celebrating the heroes and Heroes Day. It's a holiday for go beach and go river. I think Nanny ignorant and Paul Bogue said, "This my work from Stony God for the Like really?"
All right. For me, I don't necessarily agree that we don't pay enough attention to, for instance, like a Marcus Garvey. And I think some of the times when people say that, what they really should be saying is, don't make it a we, I don't pay enough attention to Marcus, or I don't give enough credence to the importance of our national heroes. But like, it's almost like you want to project it onto the rest of society. For instance, maybe because of the subjects that I studied and because of the subjects that I taught social studies, which was a kind of an evolved civics. But I studied civics when I was in high school.
Yeah, but it's because of your background as a teacher and the subjects that you chose in terms of to teach. But the average Jamaican...
But it's in the social studies curriculum.
Yes.
At 4th and 5th form. It's in the Caribbean studies curriculum in 6th form. My son is in grade 1 and he's been learning about Marcus Garvey. But what I would say is, has long begun to be integrated in the curriculum of things. But so I don't know that we are.
Yeah, but it's in the curriculum of things. But that's where it stays. So for a lot of students, you learn it and then you forget it. It's like how you learn trigonometry or you learn A squared plus B squared.
But how much more do we need to put it?
Because this needs to be a national policy, and so it's a national thing where we have that national pride in our heroes and do things. You know, so for example, it's like how Labor Day for me kind of just get watered down into one big holiday. But back in the day, Labor Day, you actually saw people doing things. Not to say that people aren't doing things now, but I think that we can do more for our heroes and celebrate what they have done, because they shed blood, sweat, and tears and their lives for us to enjoy a lot of the freedoms that we have now. Not to say that we're not paying attention, but I think more can be done. You tend to find that people take a lot of things Jamaican and they love it and honor it. This is like our music, right? And revere it. I mean, the baby, because I saw them come from, it just feel like, that's a normal youth, that's a normal man.
All right. Question 3, what would you say to someone who doesn't know what to believe when it comes on to Black history because of poor communication? Wait, I don't know what to believe?
I don't even...
I'm not sure about that.
Ask Stacey that.
All right, let me put it this way. People need to read. People need to read. People are too comfortable with not knowing. So you have a situation where they're okay with being ignorant. And maybe it's a generational thing. We don't know about them something no more. I want to talk about them something no more.
No, this is the catch line. This is the line. I'm too young. I wasn't born at that time. That's why you have books. That's why you can read. So we weren't around in World War I. We weren't alive in World War II. Many of us weren't even alive when Marcus Garvey was around and doing all that he was doing. But because of the history, because of the books, because of the information. So for example, it's like you would comment on certain things. So I've made comments like, in terms of talking about, revival and, Kangla, Black Kangla. And people are like, oh, she know about Obi. I'm like, so they never go social study class. No. We never go religious study class.
And that goes to my previous point that there is it's almost they say in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. And in an abundance of information, we live in the information age in which it is so much easier to know things. And the devices that you have in your hand every day and the internet that you have that gives you the portal to know anything you want.
They don't care.
You don't use it, and then now it's somebody else's responsibility to make you know it. Sorry, I'm not really sorry for you. You need to know
sorry,
it.
Not sorry.
No,
and the information is there right at your fingertips.
Just go and know it, you know? But then, hey. All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of Ask Kittennis. After the break,
but keep the questions coming.
Yeah,
we like them.
We'll continue. But after the break, it's Law and Order, JA, where we'll be laying down the law on trademarks.
Stick
around to hear more.